4,000 years ago, there lived a civilization way ahead of its time. And now, all that remains in its place is dust and this museum. India-Pakistan border is not on most people's bucket list, but history lovers think otherwise. Since the past 50 years, a lot has been dug out from these locations. This is the place where the great Indus Valley city of Harappa once stood. In fact, the city was so great that Indus Valley Civilization is also often called the Harappan civilization. From the moment you enter the museum, you see these pots that have stood the test of centuries. The Harappans knew how to build terracotta objects. They could make magic out of mud. They made bricks, tiles, pots, toys, wheels, ornaments, and possibly everything back then, simply out of sand. Right behind the museum are the ruins of the village. You can see the destroyed fragments of Indus Valley objects still lying there. They didn't just use the brains to make daily utilities, but also intricate sculptures. A lot of art can be found from that time. Most of the sculptures they made were about the nature, the animals. You can see how good they were at it. Like, imagine objects made of mud surviving centuries. But well, that's the only thing that remains. These sculptures. They say on a cold night some 1,000 years ago, a flood came for this village of Harappa. It came out of the blue and left not a single soul alive. Everything was destroyed. The ground has hardened and gone white because of the calcium. The decomposing bones of animals, humans, that all died in the flood. Of all the sculptures that have been found, the only religious one that we have found is this Shivling. This also suggests that perhaps Lord Shiv was the oldest god in the Hindu mythology. Harappans were a playful lot. Archaeologists have found various games. What you see here are the gamesmen. What is impressive about the Indus Valley era is that even back then, these cities were legit cities. This right here was a public toilet. Oh, yeah, the Harappans were indeed a developed society. We are talking about road networks. They even had heating systems for the winters back in the BCs. So, yes, Indus Valley Civilization was actually the most advanced civilization of its time. These cities had elaborate pipes functioning for drainage and water supplies. This right here is a pipe. The time has passed, but these house structures still stand strong, and the added calcium has made them all the more unbreakable. These houses are probably an evidence that people back then were no fools. You could tell the Harappans were indeed peaceful people because we haven't found as many weapons. In fact, there were more toys than weapons in that era. If you went around for a stroll, you might find some. This was not Kalibanga, but one village of the large Harappa city back then. The people were also trade savvy. The seals of Indus Valley have been found as far as Greece and Mesopotamia goes. Look at these cute seal designs. The Harappan love for beauty can be seen in their ornaments too. They had learned how to make use of lead, bronze, iron, and tin. If you go for a walk behind the museum, you might find some broken bangles or earrings even today. Harappans were very scientific people and had proper scales and measurements. They had various calibrated weight measurements, and it seems the hourglass was the time teller back then. But there is only so much that they could do. The nature had its last laugh. A civilization that built itself up from sand is now ironically the sand. There were theories that the Harappans were invaded by the Aryans, but it is evident now that the Harappans instead died of recurring floods, much like the one that came for this village. But those floods, that climate change was not the fault of the Harappan civilization. Climate change killed one of the most advanced societies ever. and it is impending upon us too. This time, it won't wipe out one race, but the whole. And this time, it will be our fault. The once lively land of Harappan race is now barren shut. How long before it comes for us?